What's up, you beautiful peoples? How y'all doing tonight? Is y'all doing good? Is y'all gonna ask me, am I doing good too? Okay, look out too. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm just so tired. Just got done getting my work done. I'm just waiting to clock out now. But y'all know, I kind of wanted to go and share a testimony with y'all. And I know for a lot of y'all probably think to yourself, that's kind of a shock for a person to want to be sharing a testimony after they just got done finishing work. Like, they should be about ready to think of them but getting ready to clock out. Like, yes, but at the same time, I had to find me a little space and spot where I could come in and share it with y'all, because y'all know, whenever y'all want to share anything personal, y'all would want to come somewhere where you can have your own little space and void, you know. Because I can't definitely do in the dish room, not the break room, no. Because there'll always be a lot of noise. And don't get me wrong, if somebody do come in here, best believe I'm just going to ignore them. Because in the end of the day, they wouldn't even have a clue what's going on anyway. But I kind of wanted to come on because it's been on my mind heavy. And before I even got on this camera, before I even record, I already said, Lord, give me the strength. Give me the strength, Lord. Because he already knew himself I was going to need it. Right before I did. Matter of fact, thank you for that pat on the back too, Lord. You was reassuring me I got this. So, y'all know, if I go to fridging a little bit, I'm going to get teary, of course. I had to make sure I had my tissue and stuff beside. This may not be enough for all the tears I flow, but y'all know, sometimes you just gotta come very raw with your testimony. Like, don't ever allow yourself to feel you had to come so perfect to give a testimony. Because from the testimonies I've heard from people thus far, you ain't never gotta come trying to seem all okay, y'all, and y'all know this. No, give your whole emotion into it, because it's your story. It's nobody else's story but yours. Hello. But yeah, so I kind of wanted to get on here because I wanted to share a testimony with y'all of where God had brought me from to where I was then to where I'm still reaching to get at now. And as y'all can see, I almost always wanted to add war. Some last year somebody told myself, oh, damn, I'm going to come very raw. Y'all going to get all natural now. Because that's where the realest of testimonies come to me personally. Looking at those that come in very raw as they are. No makeup. None of that. So I kind of wanted to first off start off by saying, you know, God is so good. Sometimes it's so easy saying it compared to when it comes to the ways of how in the world you try and maneuver around things. But we always got to assure ourselves God is so good through it all. Because you just ain't never guaranteed to see another day. And if you are, be thankful he woke you up. Because somebody else didn't wake up last night. He didn't even have to wake us up last night, but he did. Because he knows it's still some work you got to do. So I just wanted to go ahead and first point out so to let y'all go know. Be grateful for where you are. Be grateful for what you have, because somebody else definitely has it worse. And I feel this is where the overall of my whole testimony is really going to bring in. The fact of always thinking about what I don't have, what I wish I still had, and not thinking enough about what God has already placed upon me. So to go ahead and start y'all off, it started like once upon a time, little small sweet innocent girl with the cute pink bows, get all she want, Disneyland. I'm just kidding. I was spoiled indeed, but I ain't what you say, get all of them big trips and all this big fancy stuff that a lot of other people get. But I still had the best of what I could get, because it still gave me a childhood. But to skip some years up from my childhood, I'm going to take it to where I was about 12. So about 12, when I was about 12 at the time, I had recently lost an uncle back then. He was of age, so it was just getting about that time for him. And after that, that kind of was to me the first moment I've ever experienced where it felt like a loss of which you can't never get over to the fact knowing that you see this person from time to time, but you just don't really understand death within itself at the time. So at the time, I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, he passed, what now? Like, and excuse the noise in the backyard, it happens often, so just overlook it. But anyhow, so as I was thinking of it, I'm just to myself like, okay, Lord, what did my uncle do to have to die? Like, what did he do so wrong? If supposedly the good people supposed to be the ones still alive. I was really getting into a stage of trying to really understand, why do people pass away? Like, what is the purpose in people passing away? So the moment when I had realized that, then they had his funeral a week after, and so then after that, I'm thinking to myself like, okay, now we unburied him. And at the time prior to it, I had a panic attack to where it kind of had me feeling to myself like I couldn't really catch my breath for real. It felt like at this point I was about near the ground myself, as though like my whole life was about to be gone. And then my granddad had to check my blood pressure and everything, and it was sky high at the time. So he had to end up bringing it back down. Now, I'm thinking it was a heart attack. That's what it felt like to me, because of the fact of how, like I said, I could barely catch my breath. And then I'm just all panicking, trying to calm myself. And my grandma had to be the one to help me to calm down and everything. So after that, then I'm all to myself like, what happened? Why did I have a panic attack? And they was like, why did you have one? I'm to myself like, I guess because I thought about my uncle being dead, and they was like, that was it right there. You thought the fact that he done died, and now it's got you panicking because it got you wondering like, why did it happen? And at the time again, I didn't know why it happened. And then also at the time, I was going through my own little sort of emotions of where it's like, okay, people always want you to account and rely on them for everything, but when it come to you on and around on them for things, it's like everybody want all of a sudden disappear. So to me at the time, it was like losing another piece of what I thought was supposed to always be around, for me to be able to come see you, tell you hey, and for you to be offering me things, and just being the great uncle as you are. So then after that, it took about a month after for me to finally had got over it. But then even after a month, it's like I started to go into big anxiety, to where after I had that panic attack, it really was having me wondering like, could it possibly happen again? And in what ways did that panic attack just out of nowhere just happen, especially for me being just 12 and I'm already having stuff like that going on, like what's going on? So then after that, fast forward a little bit. So it took about, I'd say, a few months before I could eventually start easing my nerves and just come to accept the fact that, hey, we all gonna die one day, so it's nothing you should even worry about, especially if you already believe in God and believe that He is the creator of the earth and that He is the reason we have what we have. Because at the end of the day, none of us guarantee again to see the next day. And if you are, be thankful you get all the way through it. That's just on period. So then after that, fast forward up some, 10th grade, I was starting to really start having some very high mood swings. It's like my anxiety would kick in even more when it came to school, because I was getting bullied a lot. People have always hated on me. And that's no question or ifs, ands, and buts about. People have always hated on me. I was always that popular, pretty, little old brown sugar girl. Everybody just wanted to put their hands in or put their hands on. And so it's like it was one of the very few times I never forget it, when I felt the most humiliated. The way I never thought I would felt humiliated before was when the guy that was getting ready to graduate took out his phone and ended up just recording me, supposedly at the time trying to be rapping. And so it's like, He wanted me to be rapping some stuff to him, and I didn't know at the time what he wanted me to rap to him, but I was just all to myself like, okay, I guess you want to let people see that I can rap some, so let me go ahead and spit a few bars. So then as I'm just spitting my little bars or whatever, then toward the end, he leans in and he gives me a kiss on the cheek, and everybody just looked. And this was where we was by the cafeteria at the time. I think I was coming from lunch, and it's like he all of a sudden just stopped me for some apparent reason, wanted to just get all up on me and see what I had going on. But then after that, how about I end up running all the way back to the classroom, trying to put my face down as though like he did not just do that in front of everybody. And got everybody talking about, ooh, that's his girl, ooh, he done did this to that lady, ooh, she got a man. Because at the time, again, by me coming from religious backgrounds, I was always told, you can't have no boyfriend, focus on your schoolwork, don't be studying no guys and what they say. Because my folks, well, it's half of them that are religious, and it's half of them that are spiritual as well as the other things, because I grew up in an environment where it's definitely a lot of drug dealers, prostitutes, you name it. So it's a combination of all that within me that I had going on. But at the same time, it's like, again, with just my religious background, I would usually try to remind myself over and over from what my grandparents would tell me. Don't ever allow no dude to tell you anything just so he can get up in your legs. Because that's all they want to do. So at the time, I'm just thinking to myself like, okay, maybe it was just because maybe he just wanted to give me a little bit popularity, because he already know I'm already not a social person anyway. Like, I always been shy, kept to myself. I did my work and didn't really bother nobody. And to me, that was always the downside of how people are. Well, I ain't gonna even say the downside. It's just who I am. So it ain't nothing to be ashamed of, because in the end of the day, you are who you are at the end of the day, and you should never allow nobody to tell you otherwise. So then after that, how about the next day I get to class, just about the whole entire classroom. I can't remember what subject it was, but everybody up in the classroom just talking about the video, and then they end up showing to me, asking me, who is this dude? Why did he kiss on you? Why did he make you record yourself rapping? And as I'm looking at, he had it all up on Facebook. And I was just to myself like, where he at? Where he at? And they like, girl, don't get all roused about it. I mean, he was just trying to make you. And I told him, that's not making me happy. Because first of all, you put it up there without my consent. And at the time, I'm just all worried of the fact of what my folks gonna think of the fact I allowed a dude to kiss me. Even despite the fact I didn't ever kiss him back, but it was just, again, the fact of how, hey, no boyfriends or no boys touching you, and yet I've allowed one particular dude out of the blue to just kiss on me. So then after that, I was feeling like, well, y'all don't find him, I'm going to find him myself. And it took me the whole day to find him. And when I finally found him, oh boy, I grabbed him by his shirt, pushed him up against the wall, and I asked him, why would you put that on there without my consent? I never told you one time to put that video up there of me. And he was all like, man, what you tripping on though? I wanted you to feel good about yourself. I want all females to know they should feel good about themselves. My thing to him, how the hell is that supposed to be making me feel better about myself when you put it up without my permission and think I'm supposed to be cool with that? And he like, well, I mean, it's already up there. What else you gonna do about it? So I'm just so I'm like, okay, you just watch. Ever since then, it would be weeks I would have my shades on as I walked to class. I would try to put my head down so nobody could look at me. I would even be turning my head to the side so I don't want nobody even talking to me. And they would usually ask me stuff like, girl, why are you hiding? Like, it already happened. It is what it is. And I'm to them like, that doesn't mean that it's going to make it any better just because y'all tell me it's okay. Because first of all, you don't ever just put something up with somebody without their permission ever. I don't give a damn who it is. So then after that, they was like, well, girl, are you going to at least tell him to take the video down? And I was to him like, no, I'm not going to tell him to take it down. I'm going to just drag him and just record myself beating him. That's what I'm going to do. And then they was like, girl, no, don't do all that. That's going too far. And I'm to him like, well, something going to happen. And then after that, that's when one of my other teachers at the time came to me and she asked me to come to her class for a minute. And so then as I walk in, I sit down and she asked me stuff like, hey, I heard it was a video that some dude recorded you supposedly rapping by the cafeteria and that people saying he kissed you but said you didn't like that he put it up. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know why he even put it up though. And I ain't even tell him to kiss me. And then she asked me, so why would you let him record you in the first place? And so I'm just all to her like, I never wanted him record me no way, but I just thought he was trying to make me feel better about myself. And she was like, listen, if nobody paying you, that's a first. Second of all, you don't ever allow nobody to downgrade and make you feel downgraded about yourself. You know your worth. You know who you are. You will never allow nobody to ever think that it's okay to put their hands on you, let alone record you. And after she said that, it kind of brought me to tears a little, and then had me just thinking of the fact of like, why would I allow him to record me like that? And then another dude that took class with me at the time was even telling me stuff like, hey girl, don't ever allow nobody to make a fool of you. You don't ever allow nobody to make you get on something or do something you already know you ain't comfortable with doing. And even after he said that, the whole day when I got home, and then when I came home, my head was down, and then I went to my grandma's room, my room, and then I slammed the door, and then I could hear my grandma calling my name, but I didn't want to speak to her because I didn't even want her to know what had happened, because I knew she would definitely be getting mad and tripped. Just like I know if I would have told her, she was definitely going to tell my granddad, So I didn't even say nothing about it. I just kept it all to myself. So after that, then she came in eventually. She was like, how everything went? I'm like, it went good. I was being so dry with it, like how most of the time I would be about anything. I would keep it balled up to myself and just be like, I'm good, I'm straight. And then she'd be like, no, this is something you need to tell me, like, what's going on, because you sound all dry and though like somebody. And I'm like, no, I'm good. So then she'd just be like, as usual, she huff, and then she just closed the door back. She was like, all right then. So, but ever since after that though, after a while, the dude eventually took it down after he came to see how I was telling a lot of people how angry and how much I really wanted to beat him at the time. So after that, he eventually took it down, and things started to kind of smooth down somewhat. But boy, when I tell y'all, a couple months after that, being on break, when we got the call about one of my aunties, rest in peace to her soul, that she had passed on. Because I'm telling y'all, we used to be in and out. Nursing home, the hospital, nursing home, hospital, like just going back and forth. It was always a cycle and pattern. It's though like these doctors really wanted us to be paying them some money for them to really tell us what's going on. One minute y'all say she good. Next minute we getting the next call. This done happen, that done happen. To the point it was really starting to frustrate me more than even my grandma. Like, how y'all not know what's really going on? To a point where it was hurting me to even see how my grandma was even looking like she wasn't her best either. She didn't even look like herself at the time. And that was really more so a disturb to me. Because in spite of the fact that me and my grandma went back and forth a lot, it's been times too where I even had got my neck shroom all the way back on the bed at times too for some situations that went on. But I eventually forgave her. I eventually got past it, because I still would try to always remember she is the one that took me in from a kid, raised me up pretty much. But sometimes you don't never forget certain things though. Like, it don't matter how many years it's been. But anyhow, back to on this though. So when we finally got the call, when I tell y'all, it felt like my heart literally drowned. It was sinking and it couldn't get revived. when my other aunt had called and told me that my grandma gotta get back to that hospital, she's gone. I instantly dropped the phone. I was so shocked. I was upset, and again, there was another point that had me asking God, why, Lord? Just why? Like, why does it always seem like it's the good ones being taken away from this earth? Like, what do the good ones be doing to get dragged out here so fast like that? But note to y'all, like, my aunt, she did live some good amount of years. She was in her 60s, you know. And then, like, when my uncle had passed, he was in his 70s or 80s, one of them. I don't keep up with ages as much. I barely can remember a birthday in the mo. And I'm still just as young as I am. Like, Lord fix that. Yeah. But yeah, so after the call, then a week or two later, we got her cremation, because that's what they had put in her will to be done. She got cremated, and so after that, then we pretty much had to go on out to back to the house pretty much. And my granny got her ashes. She gonna keep up with the ashes, but she said one day my aunts and them ever go back down to somewhere, she'll just let them spread her ashes right across the sea, because her soul lives on forever. Her soul still walks around the earth, pretty much, because when you know it, true legends never die. Never forget that. And so then after that, to fast forward, senior year, I would say senior year was like my best year ever at high school. I started becoming more sociable. I started getting out that house more. I started trying to want to be more active in activities, and I pretty much took a part in a lot of activities. I went to a lot of basketball, football games. I was nominated prom queen. I was a part of 300 societies and so much more. Like, I feel like I was really doing my big one with that, and a lot of people were even so shocked at the fact that they know the type of person I already was as is anyway, and they to themselves like, this girl showing out this time. Like, you couldn't tell me nothing at the time. Like, I really was up in there. And I mean, I gotta say, it was probably perhaps one of the best years that probably made me feel life was really worth something. Then, after graduation, I need to drink water for this. It's about to get. Lord, give me a strength, give me a strength, give me a strength. Okay, so fast forward. So after high school, y'all know I was on the verge of if I want to go and get me a job or that I want to go on to school. But I kind of already had my mind that they low-key would just want me to continue on with school before getting a job anyway. Because note to y'all, I did my work in school, but I never liked school one bit. Half the time, I wish I was just as bold as other people to skip class sometime, or just not even think of school and just being there doing no work at all. But again, I was trying to be that reputation of the good girl, pretty much. And that kind of sucked for me at times, because it's like they always expect you to come home, keep them grades up and everything. And though I was an honor student, I had my times I slipped up too. And then they would be like, you gotta get up, you gotta get up. Like as though they chastised me, the one that always made good grades. Like, school ain't even teaching us the right shit we need to learn no way. So I never saw what's a problem of the times when I did come home with some not so good grades. I mean, but anyhow, so prior to me starting community college, because for them 2 months while I was out before I started getting a little bit more into my little side. And y'all know this is about to get a little deep. It's getting deep as far as concerned being one of the 7 deadliest sins of all. My lustful nature was coming out. More than what I didn't even think it was. Because in high school, again, I'm trying to be so focused being so much of a good girl. I'm not even having time to think about wanting to lay down with somebody or taking my legs different directions. Like, I wasn't thinking too much of none of that. But see, at the time, I was always going to church every Sunday, always trying to be in them books and get my work done still. You know, didn't really go nowhere, so that was about all I really knew of. But then I'm telling y'all, once I started really getting on that internet searching, and when I tell y'all, them niggas would be up in there, they be swagging surfing. I'm talking about Thirst Trap 3019th Street in my DMs. Because it started off with them being on Facebook, hitting me up, giving me compliments, and then sending me different little, you know, I'm trying to be as appropriate as I can, because this is YouTube, so we gotta be careful with what we say. But y'all get what I'm saying. They always trying to send the flex. And see, at the time, it would be a few of them that used to all the time bully me just as much. Not just from high school, but middle and elementary school. That was so much of a shock to me. Like, how did you go from calling me a hippopotamus, a big old cha-cha-cooler, to all of a sudden now you want to be sending me flex as though you been wanting to put a ring on me? How did that work? Or maybe because back then that was their language of trying to let me know I really like you. Because don't y'all get me wrong, like a lot of guys and even a lot of women too always tried to hit up on me. But sometimes I was obvious to it, because again, good girl, trying to be a good girl. Like Beyonce said, I want to be good girl. I want to be good girl. So, like I said, the first time I ever even, did some hot flexing online with people, I would be going through different little dating apps just to try to be a little more social with those in other states and so on. And majority of the time, it fascinates me how majority of the time I'm always coming across more so the foreigners than I did those in U.S. Because there always be a bunch of them foreigners coming in. They just be all up on my screen whenever I go live. But majority of the time, I would have my phone down and it'll just be on the ceiling. And a lot of them will be asking me stuff like, hey, can you show me something? And I didn't know they asking me, can I show them my face? Do you want to see a picture of how I look? Like what? And they usually like, can you show me some of your body? And again, at the time, my conscience would have me going to thinking one thing like, is this a good thing to do? And on another hand, another part of my conscience would be feeling like, well, I don't think that's such a good idea, because I go to church and we are told you can't, fornication is a big sin. So at the time, I was having a bunch of hesitance to doing a lot of things I knew I wasn't supposed to be doing. But yet, to me, it's like I never really experienced none of that like a lot of them did then. So it kind of started making me go in the feel like a monkey see, monkey do, where it's like I want to be able to know how stuff like that is too. Like, what if I really had a boyfriend? What if I really had a child in middle, elementary, high school? So then some of them, they just go hit me up and be like, hey, can we have some fun on video? And I'd be like, what you mean by fun? They be like, some hot cam fun. Like, you show me something, I show you something. I'm still, again, in the innocent mind, but not too innocent mind. Like, again, what do you mean by fun? So then they would tell me, download your WhatsApp, download, I think it's Venmo, and it's another app too, but majority of the time it would be WhatsApp. So at that time, that's when the something about the nighttime, baby, that bring the freak out in you, bring the freak out in you. That whole nature of me was starting to really tease and really starting to make me feel unease. But again, it's like that whole nature of me wanting to really bust out to just know what it feel like. So then I was to him like, okay, fine, cool, whatever, we'll do it. So the first one I ever did with, when he got on that cam and we just was staring at each other for a few minutes. And then after that, then he was like, can you slowly show me a little bit chest or something? And so I would try to make sure I ain't hear my grandparents or nobody come in my room, because they always be busting in, especially when they know I don't go nowhere doing that. So they always gonna feel suspicious on what she in there doing. So I be to them like, shh, don't say nothing, because I got folks here. So then they would put it on mute, and then they would just text me what they want me to do. And then when they tell me, now can you take it all off and I'll take mine off and we can dance nude together, and then I'll be to myself like, oh Lord. So then I was to them like, okay, but you gotta be real quiet. And they be like, and make sure you playing with your hive down there too for me. And so then we would just go into doing the do on it, and then they be like, ooh, yes, baby, I wish I was so close to you. And at the time, a lot of them would even be hitting me on my DM on Facebook. And at the time, when my grandma even had on her laptop, she would usually be asking me stuff like, what is these dudes texting you for, and what do they mean by they want you to heal them, and can you be the answer to their prayer? What do they mean by all? And I didn't want to let her know what we would be doing, but she'd be like, these guys are probably way too old for you, because at the time I was 18, majority of them were at least 35 plus. Yeah. Good girl gone bad. It ain't funny though. Lord. 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 It's not funny by no means, but again, that's when the not so, y'all get it. I don't have to keep telling y'all not so good, because y'all see where it's going. But ever since after that, then it would be more dudes to be hitting me up on WhatsApp, and we would just be doing little hot cam videos from time to time. And so by the time I was getting ready to start college, it's like a lot of them would even be trying to hit me up while I'm in class, trying to be asking me stuff like, hey, what you doing, or what you got going on. My thing to be, I'm in class. We can't be doing all this while I'm in class. And a lot of them act like they just didn't give a damn. Like they was that desperate. They was that thirsty for that oops, that oop, that op, that wop. They were so thirsty. Like, how can you be this bloody thirsty that bad for it? Like, again, I've always been, I always had a little freak in me. Even as a child. Because as a child, it made no sense how I got caught humping the chair by my kindergarten teacher in first grade one time, trying to call myself putting the book up, and then I'm just humping the chair and she called me, but she didn't say nothing about it. She just told me, do your work, baby. So anyhow, fast forward, like during community college, I lasted there 2 years and 9 months. And between that time, I was really going through a whole lot more of inside, because now it's the fact that these classes are kind of stressing me out, and I'm having to still worry about how I'm still in depression over losing my aunt some years back. And yeah, I'm still trying to make it seem as though everything is good, even when there'll be some of them from high school to be trying to check or ask me, can I help them with so and so, and then how I would always make it seem like everything is all peas and grease and I'm all good over here. And so they would just think like, okay, everything's still going good with you, girl, that's good. And then came 2018, I lost another aunt to breast cancer. Rest her soul too. And it wasn't too long after that where I also lost another cousin. Not too long after. She was trying to take care of him, and the whole time she was still sick herself. But that's what you call a mother's love. And again, rest in peace to both of their souls indeed. So at that time, it felt like I was kind of beginning to accept death a little bit more, all because of the fact that I know they expected that I was going to probably cry the same way I did with my other aunt. But I guess it's like after, when I started learning to cope with it a little better, I was starting to somewhat become more accepting of it, to realize it's gonna happen to all of us. But then it's like not too long after it, a few months down the line, I end up meeting this one guy. We used to hang from time to time. We would be on some little chit chat vibes, and he would always call, let me know he on his way to pick me up, because he was really trying to break me out of that shell even more, to tell me, girl, you gotta get out that house more. You gotta also start opening up more too, because he could tell I'm the type of person that keep a lot of stuff built in, to where it's like I wouldn't want you to even feel bad for me, or to feel like you gotta help me, which was always one of my biggest and mainest issues. Not wanting nobody to feel like they gotta feel sorry for me, as though like I can't express how I feel. And then there'll be times too, don't get me wrong, where I feel like he was also kind of degrading me, as far as tell me stuff like, just because at the time I'm just going to school, but I don't work nowhere, or didn't really, what you say, know a lot about how to do simple basic things or so. And my thing to him will be, first of all, just because you don't see me with no job or so doesn't mean I can't do necessarily every basic thing. Because it's some basic things, my thing to him, he ain't never seen me do that I can actually do. But at the time, it's like I was still getting all clogged in my head again about the fact, hey, I done lost relatives back to back. I'm in school, I'm stressed out with these classes, they ripping my brain apart, and so much more. Like building all that stress on me, to the point where even the words he say to me was even stressing me, to a point where I didn't tell him back then, but I waited some months after he had left to go to another city to all of a sudden start blowing his phone up one night. And he tried to call me, and I told him no, because it's too early in the morning. I'm not waking my grandparents up. We can wait until after I get done. So after that, he was like, I bet. So after that, we pretty much talked about it the next day. And after that, he had told me, don't never let it build up like that again. If it's a way you feel, it's nothing wrong with telling somebody. You don't ever allow stuff like that to just sit and build up in you. To which I feel it kind of taught me from day on, baby girl, you got a voice, learn to use it.